6 or 7 probably. But of course, these were just really stupid, childish, immature songs, just me trying to copy the type of music that I listened to. When I was 9, me and 3 of our friends formed our first and luckily only band called the Pink Angels. Now, this is extremely embarrassing to think back on now. I actually still remember the theme song, and it went like this. You might think angels are kind and caring, but that's just what you think. You might think angels are kind and caring, but we're devils dressed in pink. And that was the beginning of my songwriting story. But luckily, I think it only went up from then on. When I was 15, I decided to learn the guitar. My reason for this was simple, that I loved to write songs, but I wanted to create an entire song rather than just lyrics. It was my dream to write a whole song, music and lyrics, all mine. I remember immediately after my first half-hour guitar lesson, I started writing songs, desperately trying to use these 3 or 4 chords I now knew. And from then on, it didn't stop. I think continuously since then, I've had either my songbook or my phone or both being filled up with song and lyric ideas daily. I think the reason it's taken me until this age to be able to write a decent song is because I've only just realized why I want and need to write them. I think the best songs are the ones which need to be written. They've either said something that someone has to get out or have expressed something that society needs to hear. I think I've been lucky enough to get to understand why music is so important to everyone, even if we may not always realize it. I've experienced how music affects the world in a number of ways. There was a recent study done in which the members of a choir group were each hooked up to heart monitors. It was discovered that when they sang in unison, their heartbeats synchronized. How incredible is that? It makes me smile just thinking about it. I think it's such a poetic image and really sums up how powerful music can be. Music has an actual, measurable effect on our bodies, and I think that's fascinating. We are now so aware of how deeply music affects us that shops actually use the music they play to affect what we buy, how we act, and how much we're willing to spend. I've also experienced how music affects the world in more personal ways. When I played my first ever song for my mum, she cried. Now, I think this is partly because she got to know me a bit better. It doesn't matter that she's brought me up for the past 16 years and probably knows me better than anyone. No one can ever truly know your thoughts and emotions, but through a song, you can show a glimpse into who you are at a certain moment in time. My dad also told me, whilst listening to one of my songs, that he remembered experiencing growing up himself. In this way, memories are sparked from those belonging to others. He has and never will feel the exact way I felt, but will relive his own emotions through the expression of mine. And this is one of the reasons why I love songwriting. It's both personal and universal. I also experienced the power of music through my voluntary work with the mental health charity Mind. This charity deals with people who have dementia and Alzheimer's. One of the main jobs I did with Mind was putting on musical performances. When performing to these people with dementia, it's just so clear to see that music gets through to them in some way. Music can spark engagement. Almost everyone in the room will look up, their eyes will brighten, and you can just tell that they're there, present in the room, rather than somewhere else isolated, which can often happen with the disease of dementia. Music can also take these people back to memories from over 50 years ago. It can take them back to a place of control and comfort, which they may be missing now. One example of this is Clive. Clive is a wonderful, charming Welshman who I still remember so clearly today. He had been the conductor of an orchestra and also played the piano and other instruments. Whenever he heard music, he would raise his arms in the air and begin conducting, going right back to the old days. I think that for him, music was his place of safety. The only times he ever looked truly comfortable, engaged, and in control was when he was in his head conducting the music. I think it took him back to a place of control at a time when his disease tried to take that away. Thinking about Clive now, I can completely understand. I understand that feeling of ownership or just comfort when you created music. The creative process to that point can be hard and even painful, but when it results in something that you can say is wholly and only yours, then you feel that sense of calm that I saw in Clive's eyes all those times, because no one can take it away from you or tell you that you're wrong. As I've said, the creative process can be difficult, and it certainly isn't the same for everyone. One songwriter described how she would feel a song coming through the air like a gust of wind, and she'd have to run and run until it swept through her, and hopefully she could catch it and write it down. Now, this really sees the songwriter as a passive messenger who merely brings already present ideas into the world. I think it's slightly different. I don't think that the specific ideas and experiences are necessarily already out there in the world, but that we bring them into observation through telling other people about our feelings. The only rule I always try to respect when writing a song is to be truthful. It annoys me so much that you get 11-year-old pop stars singing songs about being in love when they have no idea what the words they're saying even mean. This applies to me too. I don't really know what they mean either. I've never been in love, so I know that there are people in this world who can do justice to the idea far better than me. I also feel like I'd be robbing myself of the experience of writing a love song for the first time when I can be truthful about how I feel. Shortly, I'm going to perform to you a song which I wrote about a year ago. It's the first proper song I ever wrote, but I think it's the most truthful. Firstly, I'm going to try to explain to you some of the things that were going through my head before I wrote this song, and to be honest, what I'm still thinking about now. I feel like I'm still planning my life, or thinking about what might happen from some remote place away from time and existence. But then I realize life's already started. These past 16 years have been, and forever will be, the first 16 years of my life, and there's nothing I can do about it. I basically feel like I want everything to happen like in one of those Jennifer Aniston movies. I want the happily ever after, but I also want the bad bits. When I'm old, I want to look back on my life, and I want to have some stories to tell people. And what's a story without the bumps along the way? I hope that most of you can relate to at least some of those feelings. Maybe not the Jennifer Aniston part, but some of them. This song was just me trying to put into words my hopes and fears about life. And with it, I want to leave you with an invitation to start thinking about songs slightly differently. And here it is. To know where I'm going, I don't want to know who I'll be. I just want to paint some memories on this canvas of my life, so no one could ever question it was me. And short as everybody says, because I've got some plans of my own. I wanna smoke cigarettes, give them up, see the world and wanna go home, get drunk, steal policemen's hats, make up my mind and turn back, learn it all, still fail the test, crying mother's arms again, wanna say, look, there's where it began. There was where my heart fell right into your hands. That's where I said I loved you, where you said you loved me too. And there was where it ended, 'cause it was too good to be true. So hold onto my hope that heartache aches just as much as everybody says, because I wanna feel that too. I wanna fall in love with you, break up, leave a note outside your door, find another man with another plan, get my heart broken again, cry alone, cry to my friends till I'm empty and I'm full. Just haven't loved you yet. I wanna live life, no love, find heart, see good, see bad, reach the end, remember the start. I wanna have some stories for a grandchild on my knee, and tell them how in my day things were different for me. With all the bad parts of the movie, all the good parts of the end. We may not have spent it wisely, but it was our time to spend. I wanna settle down someday, buy a house with the man who owns my heart, have children and tell them off, pretend they're worse than I was, teach my children to pass the test, have them crying in my arms again. But before I do all that, I'm gonna smoke cigarettes, give them up, see the world, don't wanna go home, get drunk, steal policemen's hats, make up my mind and turn back, learn it all, still fail the test, cry in my mother's arms again, 'cause I haven't lived it yet. Live life, no love, find heart, see good, see bad, reach the end, remember in the start. Learn it all, still fail the test, cry in my mother's arms again, just haven't lived it.